In. Aha. This is much better. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Fairy Friday. I think it started. There we go. Yes, happy Fairy Friday. Take two. As the first time, the stream was bouncing me all over the place. Hello, Margaret Sample, coming to you from the beautiful Niagara region of Ontario in Canada. Most Fridays, I bring you messages from the fairy folk using Brian Froud's beautiful Fairies Oracle deck. Two things I always say. One is sometimes I see comments, sometimes I don't, but I love looking at them later on. And also the little likes and the hearts. Oh, there's Leah. Hello, good morning, Leah. So I am seeing some, but I can see some and then others don't come until afterwards. It's just the magic of technology, right? The other thing I always like to say is if you are seeing this message, whether you're seeing it live or on replay, either here on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, Spirited Insight, or on my website, because I post them there too, it is because you are supposed to see this message today. This message is meant for you. Okay, so I always like to say that. Hey, good morning, Svea, and good morning, Marie. Ooh, yay, yay, yay. Okay, so I am going to shuffle and see who's going to bring us our message this week. Ah, that one jumped. Lease of the Shadows. Huh. Look at those healing hands. So, Lease of the Shadows is one of the Helpline Troop. And the Helpline Troop, good morning, Alicia Marie. The Helpline Troop are what we often think of as fairies, brownies, pixies, gnomes, dwarves, elves. Whether they're wee people or folk or big folk, those are, we often think of those as like, oh, that's a fairy. And Lease, they want to help people. They help humans. And sometimes their help gets us a little bit more confused than we might have thought otherwise. Like they can help us too much or help us in an odd way, but they're always wanting us to do better. They are connected with the 5 elements of fairy: earth, fire, water, air, moonlight. And sometimes they work solo, like Lise. Sometimes they work in groups. They're all full of life, sassy, mischievous, and of course, they love to connect with us, particularly in the natural world. So, Lise, she is about healing the shadows. Addiction, bondage, self-esteem, she's connected with all of those things. And she has a tough job to do. And she puts a great deal of tough love into it. She prowls the night streets looking for those who need help, and she finds so many, whether they're on the streets or whether they're just up at night in their bedroom or whatever. She is the patron fairy of social workers, therapists, healers, and all who try to help souls caught in the darkness of their own inner shadows. So, with everything in the world right now, it's really important that Lisa's coming forward to support all of these healers. Good morning, Audrey. And she wants to help, right? Anyone caught in the darkness, and a lot of those are people who've been abused by those who should protect them. And so she is a great protector and helper of folks like that. She's out in the world. She whispers encouragement and comfort. She's lending a healing hand or a touch, bringing that beautiful rainbow light into the darkest shadows, including those in darkened human hearts. And much of her work flows through the hearts and the hands and the words of humans who also do this helping, healing work. Her specialty is help for the hopeless, the lost ones, those who've fallen through the cracks. And showing up today, Lise suggests that we examine ourselves to see where we might have addictions or compulsive behaviors. And also, when she shows up, we can ask ourselves things like, are you angry with yourself or with others or both? Are you feeling lost or isolated or hopeless? Are you struggling with feelings of guilt? And Lise will help if we let her. And I'm struck by the resonance of this. Yesterday in Canada, it was one of the mental health days, right? Where there's awareness. This month, there's a lot of awareness of mental health issues. And so it's really appropriate that Lise has come forward. You know, she says, would you look at atonement, be kind to yourself, self-compassion, rather than being, judge, jury, executioner, which we way too often are, especially on ourselves, but also towards others, right? Look at atonement, at one-ment, look at atonement, and then beginning to seek balance through action. Maybe help others who've been hurt in the same way. Perhaps Lise coming is because you are ready to let go of some old anger or grief. Let it go. Old stuff. Time to let it go. It's also the time of year where it's a great time to be decluttering, letting go of things, right? So that makes sense too. And maybe you're not ready to let go of some anger or some grief, but maybe you're ready to consider that you might someday be willing to let it go. Because that's the first step, right? Like sometimes we think, oh, I've got to just do it all in one fell swoop. No, sometimes we just have to baby step our way through. And she's here to hold your hand while you do it. Ultimately, Lisa's here to help people develop true self-respect and self-esteem. And she inspires practical help for those who need it the most. So, practical help. She's here to help us take those first wobbly, sometimes, steps towards healing. Lise coming today indicates that something that had seemed lost or irrevocably damaged is now open to healing. Hooray! Someone's ready to begin with help to climb out of that inner mire. Now, perhaps you are a healer and you're somehow exhausted. I know that this has been an incredibly exhausting time for those of us who do healing work. Who do energy healing work like me, all our doctors and our nurses who are exhausted. We have to support them and send them love and strength, because that's what we can do. There is always hope. And Lise reminds us of that. There's always hope. Look how hopeful she is. And there's always a need for loving kindness tempered with practicality. So immediately, for example, you start with immediately finding clean drinking water for someone and shelter, and then you start this therapy on the hurt, on the past stuff, right? You set the broken leg and then help the person find a place to live, and then do it's getting the practicalities. She is about that kind of help. And if you will ask Lise for assistance, she will always give it, because she always has time to support those who have time for others. I must say, is there anything else? Love yourselves. Love yourselves. Try to avoid those things that are making you crazy these days. Maybe you have to take snooze time from some of your Facebook friends. I know I certainly have. Still love them. But sometimes we just need to protect our energy and heal those shadows and break free of the bondage and the self-judgment that we've put ourselves under, and bring ourselves self-compassion. And if you are interested in a book that's great for self-compassion, Kristen Neff think it's called The Art of Self-Compassion. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. And yeah, I think that's what I needed to say. Anything else? No. Just be well. Be well. All right. Love to you all. Mwah. Be well. And happy Very Friday.